Hello, and well, hello and well, Hurricane Mary did it. The AHC, soon after I made my last video, which was about 10 o'clock this morning, about an hour later, the AHC upgraded their ATCF file and declared that Hurricane Mary had intensified into a Category 5 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale with winds of 140 knots. And the advisory held that through, and thus we got our first Category 5 since Hurricane Cecilia. Not only that, but several other interesting things happened. The storm's lowest minimum pressure was 918 millibars. That would be the sixth strongest East Pacific hurricane on record. But not counting Central Pacific is the fifth strongest. And then not only that, do not count Central Pacific. The system was the strongest August major hurricane on record. And the pressure was operationally assigned at 918 millibars. It was an 80 miscalculation. So it would not surprise me if it had a peak around 913. If they brought Recon in, the system would probably have a pressure in the 890 somewhere. If that was hypothetically be the case, that would be stronger than any other East Pacific tropical cyclone on record. With that said, Mary has now peaked. It's undergoing an eyewall replacement cycle. Its side presentation is deteriorating, though it's still very impressive. Hurricane SAR is a very epic central games overcast. It's going to be interesting to see how fast this weakens. There's really two scenarios. Either A, it does what every storm season so far seems to have thought and be a pass, or B, it kind of weakens at a steady rate like most regular East Pacific tropical cyclones. And we continue, and we'll know more probably by the morning what path's going to take, because I can see you have this good southwesterly outflow there, this strong southwesterly banding, that's feeding off moisture from the intertropical convergence zone using strong outflow channels, and as such, that could keep deep convection, cold cloud tops associated with the system a little longer. And the cloud tops really haven't changed much. There's still some EDC cloud tops, so it's still a fairly impressive hurricane. I'd probably agree at 135 is a fair estimate. I mean, earlier at peak intensity, the system was at T7.0 by SAB and TFB, so that's, and ADT peaked at T7.1. That's an anonymous agreement for a Category 5, and thus, even though they were probably a little reluctant to upgrade, they did it. It was a good call. It was a good call. And as such, history has been made. Now, and that we get a 2nd August Category 5 hurricane 17 years. Interestingly enough, on a trivia note, the system peaked on the statistical peak of the EPAC season. That is pretty incredible. That is an ultimate peak, emotionally and physically. It's the peak. Really, for the past month, I'm going to talk about this, the EPAC has been on fire like it really never truly has before. It hasn't since this generation. Even 2009 was, wow, epic. Had very warm waters. I'll get to sea surface temperatures in a second. There's something very interesting about it. And it's going to become very serious once you get to the latter half of the hurricane season. But I will say this, that I will say this, what was I going to say? Hold on, let's go train of thought. We'll say that even 2009 did not have this level of happiness. Now, which brings me to another thing. We've had 7 hurricanes in a row. 7. Not only have we had 7 hurricanes, that's only We had 4 major hurricanes this month. So the 7 hurricanes, that is tied for the most consecutive hurricanes in a row. Also, there was the current record holder was in 1990, which had a stretch of about August and September, which is major after major after major. Though it never got more than, I think, 2 in a month. Somewhat surprisingly. We've also gotten a grand total of 4 majors this month, which again ties the record. It ties the record set in 1978, and it ties in July 1978, and what else? July 1978 and August 1993, each which had 4 majors. Note I am including Central Pacific in this case. And we've also had several with 3, such as August 1998, August 2009, July and September 1992, and September 1983. So it's been a period of just pure epicness. The East Pacific, and that period I think is starting to affiliate. It's probably a good thing, because honestly, as a tracker, I'm a little worn out. I've had a lot of fun. Think about it, it's been 31 days exactly since this cold started. Well, probably around July. Genevieve was declared, I think, July 26th, but the tropical water hour got active around July 23rd. So it's been about a month since this whole thing started, and it's been one after another after another. Now, hold on. Right, 6 minutes, good. Now, there's several other things that I'm probably going to discuss about the future, but the first thing is the Greek alphabet. And that is, theoretically, we could reach it, but the activity would have to continue. The activity we've had since over the last 3 days continues. Let me see, we've had Genevieve, Hannah, Isaiah, Julio, Karina, Well. Man, we've had 7 systems. If we get 7 systems over the next 2 months, that would put us 14 systems. And we get 1 system in October. That would put us over. That would easily put us into the Greek alphabet. Easily. However, that does not seem likely, because several things like the Kelvin has been a factor. We've had 2 very strong ones, 1 weaker one, and we've had a fairly strong MGL, and we kind of had a case where MGL retrograded, and that helped Mary. Now also, before I forget, there's also tropical storm Karina out there, though it's weakening and likely to be declared a post-tropical remnant low early tomorrow. And then, let's talk about September. Because now we've kind of gone through the late season. Now September, the month of September, especially the first half, that largely depends on the Atlantic. JFS is developing a bunch of decently intense systems in the Atlantic. Now, probably if they're lucky, could get a major or 2. We have Cristobal out there as well. Cristobal out there currently we're going to have Dolly Edward, and maybe Faye within the next few days, at least according to not within the next few weeks, at least according to JFS. I mean, it's the peak of the season, so that activity is to be expected. But I will like to point out that the JFS is not forecasting MJO properly, like the rest of the models, so I'm not sure if. So I think they're showing phantom storms. Right now, the suppressed MJO is forecast to kick in. The suppressed MJO is from the WAP Pacific is forecast to move into the East Pacific, so the West Pacific's going to get more active, and then eventually the favorable conditions move from the West Pacific to the East Pacific. Because right now, the East Pacific has been pretty much unstoppable, but that could change in a heartbeat. That said, there's still systems to watch. It could still change in a heartbeat. As we've seen in recent years, like 2005, had about like a ridiculous stretch for about like 3 weeks, second half of September. We've got 6 storms. Aside from that, it was dead as hell. And then another good example stars with 10, which had the record activity in June, then shut down. Literally shut down and entered winter mode. And that is a very mysterious season, though that at least was attributed to La Nina and to very cold waters. Speaking of cold waters, we have a new record. Warmer sea surface temperatures in the East Pacific remained about degrees from 10 degrees to 20 degrees from, I think, the Mexican about 9 degrees to, I think, like 130 degrees or so. We have a new record in the East of sea surface temperatures within the tropical East Pacific in the satellite year. The last season pre-satellite year to review that was 1959. That is something important. That was a very strange year globally. So it's 1881. I'm going to insist that 1881 and 1959 both seem strange years. Like JMA, for example, has a very negative SOI value, but a strong minus PD, but has a listed as a weak La Nina / cool neutral year. That's very puzzling, but I will say this, that both 1881 and 59 saw 1881 saw 3 major hurricanes slam to the Mexican coast. Imagine that year is probably not a lot different this year. I'm not trying to scare you, but it's true. So 1959, there was obviously they had the great Manzanillo hurricane. They had a couple other hurricane landfalls. I know one in Baja California in October. Baja California Peninsula in October, and I think there was one earlier in the year. But the ocean temperatures off that area is really warm. Like the Baja California Peninsula area, downward through pretty much that Gulf of California to the really central Mexican coast. It looks like the Philippines. That's what it looks like. I'm not even kidding. Pools of 28 to 30 degrees Celsius. That may be tapped, but still relatively untapped. The pool's pretty big. Something I've never seen before. I saw it a little bit in 2009, but not. Yeah, this level that kind of explains the record ocean temperatures. With any sort of powerful storm that's stuck inside the Gulf of California and or approaches the Baja California Peninsula. In the Baja California Peninsula case, we have a warm PDO signal, which may partially allow for a storm to maintain more of its strength than originally expected. I will also note that the PDO this year flipped from minus to positive, and in a similar year, in 1976, PDO flipped from positive to negative. That year had 2 landfall Baja hurricanes, and including Liza, and 1 landfall in Colima, and 1 landfall in Sinaloa. So expect it, and we've already had Isaiah, and that obviously doing something that had no business doing, and by hitting Hawaii to the east. So it's been very interesting. However, I do think activity's going to calm down a bit, and it will not be surprising to see a very slow September. But we'll see what happens, because the CFS is not very keen on the month at all, and the ensembles, in other words, the JFS is not developing very many systems. So there's a lot of uncertainty. However, there are lows I think we do need to watch, because it's going to kind of be pounding Atlantic how many systems cross over. Well, the Atlantic is still not super favorable, so I think there'll be a decent number of waves and performance systems, and we do have Kelvin wave effect still, so it puts it in intertropical conversion zone breakdown. So we could easily see more systems. Still, I think it'll probably be smaller and easier to develop, so I guess we can argue it would be a good thing. But the big question is going to be the shear and the vertical instability, and we'll have to watch those closely. That's it for my weekly update video. Bye!